Greetings, fellow Earthlings and viewers across the World Wide Web. This is Tune 215, and right now we're going to do a tour from the start of Spring Garden here next to the Delaware River. This is the east side, and we're going to travel to the west side of Spring Garden Street. We're going to go as far as we can go until we reach the end, and we're going to travel westbound on Spring Garden Street. The light just turned green. We're passing a Luke Oil gas station. On my left hand side used to be the Egypt Club, nightclub. This is in Penn's Landing, right next to the Delaware River, right before you cross over to Camden, New Jersey. We're passing Front Street, Spring Garden, Front Street. We got a Delilah's advertisement on the left hand side, a Philly landmark since 1991. Yo, I didn't even know Delilah's was considered a Philly landmark. Are you serious? Isn't Delilah's like a high-class strip club or something of that nature? That's strange that they would advertise that on their billboard. A Philly landmark. I guess it means a place where you want to go. I don't know, do you want to go? When you come to Philly, do you say, hey, I want to make a stop by Delilah's? Anyway, we're on 2nd and Spring Garden Street. We got City Fitness, Northern Liberties on my left-hand side. Passing 2nd Street. We're crossing over to the 200 block of Spring Garden. Traveling like 25 miles an hour. This is a main road. I'm going to get on the right lane and stay on the slower lane with the hopes that people don't rush me. It's a 2-lane street. We're passing 3rd and Spring Garden. We got Mid-Atlantic Social Security Center on my left-hand side. We're passing Oriana Street, the 500 block. We got a little shopping plaza on my right. New Spring Garden Market on my left. Passing CVS. We're passing 4th and Spring Garden. A food truck on my right-hand side. Fruit salads and smoothies. We're passing Lawrence Street. Now we're approaching 5th Street. We have Yards, which looks to be like some sort of eatery slash drinkery. We're passing 5th and Spring Garden. Interesting fact about, you see this little site right here on my right hand side? So that was a plaza for many years. And there was a bunch of businesses there. They haven't been doing so well, so I guess recently they decided to sell their property. We're passing 6th and Spring Garden. Well, upon digging up the ground, they found out that there was bodies in the ground, and there used to be a cemetery in the 1700s and early 1800s, and the cemetery, when they moved, they didn't take all of the bodies. We're passing 7th and Spring Garden Street, so that put a halt on their project. We have the Red Cross of America building on my left hand side. It's like a little headquarters. Yeah, so that put a halt on their project, and to my knowledge now they can't build there until they figure out. They contacted the church that used to be there, and they want to try to get in contact with the descendants and the relatives of those bodies so they don't, you know what I mean, just dispose of them the incorrect way. So I found that interesting. I lived here my whole life, and I didn't know that that was once a cemetery. I always remembered it as the plaza. We're passing 8th and Spring Garden. We got the Philadelphia Municipal Court on my left-hand side. You can see the Philadelphia skyline on my left-hand side. We're on 9th and Spring Garden. Spring Garden is prime real estate. Like, when you play Monopoly, you know, when you get to like the green section right before Boardwalk, the blue section is Boardwalk. That's the most sought after property on Monopoly. The green section is Pennsylvania Ave, and I forgot the other ones. Well, anyway, that's what this would be considered as, or if not even like the yellow. This is prime real estate right here, top dollar area. We're at 10th and Spring Garden. We're next to 990 Spring Garden. 990 consists of a creative workspace seeking new tenants. On my right hand side, we got New Century Metal Construction. They deal with fences, gates, and stuff. We got Sazón, traditional Venezuelan cuisine, world-class gourmet drinking chocolates, truffles, and more on my right hand side. This used to be the spaghetti warehouse on my left hand side, where it says Union Transfer on my left. Yeah, that used to be the spaghetti warehouse. Passing 11th for Spring Garden, we got La Chinesca on my left-hand side. Now we're passing Golf Gas Station and the Hand Wash in Lube on my right-hand side. It's like a car wash, as you can see. It's a drive-through car wash. Got a beautiful church on my right-hand side that's been closed down for many years. I've always wanted to explore it, but it's right here on the main avenue and it's always been gated up. If I explore it, I would have to literally trespass. And I don't really want to go through that process. I've explored hood churches because they're easier to get into. But right here on the main avenue near Center City, a little tricky. Passing Ridge Ave. We got Lennox and Company on my left, an original building from back in the day. We got Bibashi on my right, whatever that is. We're at 13th and Spring Garden. We got Galdenza, a new beginning on my left-hand side. To my knowledge, that's like a rehabilitation program. When you get out of prison, I think it has to do with like drug abuse. When you get out, I think there's a program where you can get into the new Galdenza building. And they, I don't know, I guess they help you before your exit into the real world again. We're at Broad and Spring Garden. Broad Street is primetime real estate. We're like 3 blocks away from City Hall, Philadelphia. They're making this new building on my right hand side. You see on my left hand side there's a Starbucks. This whole first floor level complex on my left, it's commercial. They just made that within the last 5 years. On my right hand side, that new building they're working on was a huge lot. It was a parking lot. Now they are turning it into probably a skyscraper or something of that nature. We're at 15th and Spring Garden. Food company on my left. Las Scalas Pronto, brick oven pizza on my right. The Milano building on my right. Milano clothing. Dunkin' Donuts on my left. Sakura on my right. Speaking of Milano, to my knowledge, I didn't follow their movement too much, but I think Milano was owned by a female who was with the Philadelphia rap artist Meek Mill. We're on 16th and Spring Garden. We got Community College of Philadelphia on my left-hand side. This is their campus. Well, to make a long story short, I saw on a news segment that they were robbed at gunpoint. And, well, obviously, if you get robbed, you get robbed at gunpoint. But, I don't know, there's a such thing as knife point robberies, right? Or, like, holding a banana inside your hoodie and pretending like you're robbing them, right? I don't know. I guess at least if you get caught with a banana, you won't do no gun charge. You'll just get the robbery charge. We're past the 17th and Spring Garden. But anyway, yeah, they robbed it, and they got that footage online. Yeah, it was around the time, I believe, when the pandemic started happening and people were allowed to wear the mask, walking around like normal. You know, you don't really suspect anybody who's going to walk into your business with a mask do anything now because everybody's required to wear a mask. But yeah, I guess they took advantage. We got a halal food cart in front of us. And let's see what they got. They got chicken over rice, lamb over rice, fish over rice, falafel over rice, chalapi kebab and rice, shish kebab and rice, chicken gyro, lamb gyro, chicken salad, lamb salad, and falafel sandwich. Boy, that was a mouthful. We're passing 18th Street. We got golden chopsticks on my left. Once we pass 18th, we're out of the Community College of Philadelphia zone. We're now approaching 19th Street. Passing 19th and Spring Garden. On my right hand side, that neighborhood has some relatively expensive homes. Yeah, the Fairmount or the Spring Garden neighborhood, because Spring Garden also has its own neighborhood. We're on Spring Garden right now, so you can look at the map and see the definition, how they're defined separately. But yeah, there's $800,000, $900,000, $1 million homes on the neighborhood on my right hand side. On my left hand side, you'll work your way towards the Logan Square neighborhood, and another one that starts with an F. Philadelphia has a couple neighborhoods that start with F. Franklinville, Feltonville, Francisville. There's a couple with an F. They always create a roadblock in my mind. I know Feltonville's near Rising Sun and the Boulevard, so that's not this. But there's also, I think, a Franklinville around there or something of that nature. Anyway, we're past the 20th and Spring Garden. I just know one of the F's is on my left-hand side before you get into Logan Square. We're at 21st and Spring Garden. Now we're about 2-3 blocks away from, ready, drum roll, the Philadelphia Art Museum. Yep. Philadelphia Art Museum, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're ever in the Philadelphia area and you want to know how to get to the Philadelphia Art Museum and you happen to be next to Spring Garden Street, take Spring Garden westbound all the way past 23rd Street, 21st, 22nd, 23rd Street. You will hit the Benjamin Franklin Parkway and the Art Museum of Philadelphia, or the Philadelphia Museum of Art, which would then therefore take you to Kelly Drive, and you can check out Boathouse Row and all that. The Philadelphia County Medical Society on my left-hand side. We got Jefferson Health on my left-hand side. Jefferson, as well as Penn, have many health locations throughout Center City, Philadelphia. Passing 22nd and Spring Garden, we got a Gulf gas station on my right-hand side. We are now approaching Pennsylvania Avenue. Remember I was talking about Pennsylvania Avenue on the Monopoly Boardwalk? On the Monopoly board being worth something? Look, we're at Pennsylvania Avenue. This is prime real estate. Like, I don't think you can buy property in this neighborhood anymore unless you're a billionaire and you make somebody an incredible amount, a huge offer. Like, look, I'll give you, $20 million for this $3-4 million property, or this $6 million property. Because, when people have something like this, they know what they have, and if they're emotionally connected to it, they don't want to sell. Yeah, I think that's the only way you can get yourself something around here. And that's if you're lucky. That's why I said you got to be a millionaire or a billionaire to actually live in this neighborhood, to cash out, to own something. But I'm sure property taxes over here are probably incredible. That's the Philadelphia Museum of Art on my right-hand side. We just did a walking tour going up the Philadelphia Museum of Art. If you guys want to check that out. The Rocky statue, there's already a line of people. Yeah, the Art Museum. Then if you go down on my right-hand side, you go down Martin Luther King Drive on my right-hand side as you make this left-hand turn and merge. You'll get to the Mantua neighborhood in West Philadelphia. Then you can start checking out like the Powelton Village and all those other areas in West Philly. Right now we're in Center City, Philadelphia. In front of us we got the Franklin Institute, the Free Library of Philadelphia, the main headquarter branch. And we got City Hall and all that stuff. But I'm gonna go all the way around, and since we're focused on Spring Garden and we got some time, let's take Spring Garden eastbound. I think that's fair. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do to a couple spots. I figure that I'm gonna pick a couple avenues and I'm gonna travel the whole avenue. I've did that before. I did the Broad Street one. I did Broad Street southbound, westbound. I did Lehigh, westbound, eastbound. I've did a few others. So I figure why not? Let me know if y'all want to Washington Ave. If y'all want to Washington Ave from Delaware Avenue to where you hit Grays Ferry, right before the Devil's Pocket neighborhood on my right-hand side, and then Grays Ferry neighborhood will be on my left-hand side. We're not in that area right now. I'm just thinking in my thoughts here. That's where it would be if I was on Washington Ave. I could do the same thing, you know what I mean? Now we're passing Pennsylvania Ave again, and now we're traveling eastbound on Spring Garden Street. 2200 block of Pennsylvania Ave on my right, 2300 block of Pennsylvania Ave on my left. Now we're at 22nd and Spring Garden Street. We got Prudential Bank on my left-hand side, Parkway Corner on my right-hand side. Bar, beer, things like that. I'm gonna let the vehicle roll back because there's nobody behind us and we're in a stick shift vehicle. So if we leave it in neutral, we just naturally roll back. I'm rolling it back so you guys can get a wider picture of the environment. Nobody behind me, so. Somebody's crossing now. I think she was concerned that she was letting me roll. She probably thought that I was reversing. No, man, I'm not reversing. I'm just, just sightseeing here for the viewers of the World Wide Web and all of that. All right, we're passing the Jeff Fit. That's that Jefferson Health building. We got homes on my left-hand side. Those big 3-story buildings with a 4th-story attic, those are homes. And I'm assuming some of them will probably be apartments too. But those are probably a good 800 $900,000 buildings just because of where they're located. They're a block away from the art museum. You know what I mean? At 21st and Spring Garden. I wouldn't mind living this close to the art museum. On the left, wow, they had a nice, I wouldn't say a spiral staircase, but they had a nice, like a twisty staircase on my left. Now renting on my right. You see, some of them are apartments. I would want one as a home though. We're at 20th and Spring Garden. Some people don't like homes. They prefer apartments, and I completely understand that. It's good for a minimalist, simplistic lifestyle, right? But me, like, I would turn one. Wow, look at the Bronco on my left-hand side, the old school Bronco. I would turn one of the. Wow, looks like he's doing a gas tank drop. He dropped his gas tank, boy. Flavor Flav. He drops his gas tank. I guess he probably either doing the fuel pump, something of that nature, or unless he got a hole in his gas tank and he just wants to change it out. We're at 19th and Spring Garden. But if I had one of these large buildings, we got Carpenters Museum on my left-hand side. Carpenters Benefit Funds. FedEx on my right, Museum Market on my right, Franklin Cleaners on my right. We're passing 18th. We're back into the community college of Philadelphia campus on my right. Electricians Union, LU Local 98 on my left-hand side. We're at 17th and Spring Garden. On my right-hand side is all of CCP, Community College of Philadelphia. On my left-hand side, we got Masterman. I forgot to mention Masterman. Masterman Public School on my left-hand side. Julia Reynolds Masterman Public School. That's for, like, quote-unquote, the more advanced students. It's like smart kids that go there. I think it's a middle school. I think. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It's a middle school. But, yeah, so I would like turn one room into a library, one room into an office, one room into a studio, one room into a lounge, one room into, you know, a living room, one room into a dining room, one room into a, you know, bedroom, one room into a guest room, one room into, you know, maybe an arts and crafts room or like a hobby room. Like I would literally, you know, I don't know, that's because I categorize things like. And the funny thing is if y'all knew how I was living now, like I'm living the most minimalist lifestyle anyone can live in the entire nature of living. In the entire whole wide world, Tune is living really, extremely humble right now. And I'll explain that to you guys in the near future. But yeah, I'm living a really simplistic lifestyle right now. So, you know, it's not like I got a gigantic house right now, like Tune, but you should downsize. No. You can't get no more downsized than where I'm at right now. We're at 13th and Spring Garden. But, you know, I've been making it work for the last several years. But, look at this bank on my left-hand side. They graffitied it. You see, there's a lot of artwork. I guess you can call it street art. You don't make money, money makes you. To each their reach. And if I don't cop, it ain't mine to have, but I'll be reaching further. Good money, good sleep. Choose one. Wow. Check. Good money or good sleep? Pick one. Recover the earth, lost in the moment, your $1 million check, and then it got a mailbox. It says somebody else's box. Wow, your $1 million check and somebody else's box. Pop lifer. I'm just reading a bunch of quotes that are written on that building, which was a bank. George Starchild Clinton. There's a bunch more street art type of phrases written on there that'll make you think. We're at 12th and Spring Garden. Now we're passing Ridge Ave and Spring Garden. We got the Chosen 300 building on my right hand side. It's a non-profit organization. I've did a promotional video for them before. Shout out to the homie Los Moyoski, Philadelphia graffiti artist for NSB. Now he's a barber, licensed barber, and he was doing a program, an initiative where he was providing free haircuts for the homeless. Yeah, and I did a promotional video for him, and it was in their building. It was a whole bunch of students, young men and women that are cosmetologists, you know, professional barbers. It was like, I think 10 of them or so, give or take. And they were providing free haircuts for the homeless or less fortunate, or even just anybody who wanted a haircut, like if they had a job interview tomorrow or something. And it was, I don't know, a good turnout. I would say, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 people who came in that day and got free haircuts. We're at 10th and Spring Garden. So to my knowledge, Chosen 300 does a lot of things like that. I think once a month they give out free haircuts, which is good because, you know, a haircut. We're passing the shooting range. On my left hand side, we missed the shooting range right here on 9th and Spring Garden. Well, it's on 10th, but there's a shooting range. Traffic court on my right hand side. First time I've been to traffic court, I was 13 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, 13 years old. Tune got pulled over and received a citation and a court date at 13 years old. True story. Yeah, and I was a minor, so my pop had to come with me to court. Yep, true story. Passing the Guild House on my left hand side. But and I think we got the Edgar Allan Poe projects on my left hand side. What is that his name? Or am I getting him confused with somebody else? It's PHA Housing on my left hand side. Yeah, the Edgar Allan Poe National Historic Site is on my left hand side, and then you got the projects right there. We're passing 7th and Spring Garden. We got a little fine art, Great Dane auctions, buy, sell fine art on my right hand side. Beautiful mural on my right hand side. We got Banca on my right hand side. Used to be a bank, now it looks like some type of a club or something. This is where that cemetery was at on my left, where they're digging up. Yeah. We're approaching 5th and Spring Garden. Yeah, I used to walk up Spring Garden a lot when I wanted to go to school. Whether I wasted a year in community college in Philadelphia, straight out of high school. Well, to be honest, yeah, I believe a little shortly straight out of high school, I went to to community college Philadelphia. For my primary major was business management. No, it was arts and design. My secondary was business management. We're passing 4th and Spring Garden, and I was there for about a year, and it didn't retain my attention. I'm a hands-on, artsy, you know, global thinker. It was more linear learning. It was more like we're on 3rd and Spring Garden, like book work, like text, like you read yourself, teach yourself. That's how college is in general. But it wasn't really, you know, I'm an arts and design major. You would think I was learning arts and design stuff. I felt like I was still doing like this random stuff that was not related to arts and design. So after a year or so, I dropped classes. I grinded for a short period of time to make some income. And then, like, I think a year and a half, 2 years later, I enrolled in the Art Institute of Philadelphia for digital film and video production major, which is filmmaking. It's funny because I was in filmmaking workshop in high school, as well as welding, but I only did welding for about a half a year. The other 2.5, 3 years, I was in filmmaking. It was called Audio Visual Communications Technology Program. When I went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia, I enrolled for a digital film and video production major, which is filmmaking. That's why I'm a director, cinematographer, and editor. That's why I do what I do now. And I graduated. I graduated in 2012. Yeah. I'm not proud of it, but we're on 2nd and Spring Garden, ladies and gentlemen. Above us is the 95, and you also got the entrance to the Market Frankfurt line. You can go on my right or go on my left and get on the train. Yeah, boys and gals, G's and gents. Yes. And we're passing the National Landmark sign. Say no. It's not a national landmark. It's a Philly landmark. If you want to check out some women at Delilah's, it's right up the block. Wow, that's kind of bold and brazen. On my left, we got the original Yamaha City location. Yamaha City was where you could buy like four-wheelers, dirt bikes, Yamahas, basically, motorcycles and all that stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, oh yeah, last but not least, right in front of us used to be a dump site. Now it's not. We got the Benjamin Franklin Bridge on my right. That's the Delaware River in front of us. That used to be a dump site. I don't know how many people remember when it was like they would bring the waste there, but yeah, they cleaned it out many years ago. You see where the joggers jogging by? You see her jogging by right there in front of us? She looks like a teeny weeny dot. Yep. So this is the end of the tour, ladies and gentlemen. I know it was a short tour. But you know, I'm just trying to be creative here. For the attention span of our viewers, let's try something different. Let's see how that works out. With that being said, this is your homeboy, Mr. Toonie Magooney. I'm gonna be tuning out, but don't forget to show some love in the comment section when the video is complete. That'll help the algorithm circulate the video. Don't forget to watch and share one of your favorite videos on the YouTube channel Toon215. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their neighbor to tell their cat to tell their dog to tell their pet cricket and to tell their sister snake. So yeah, tune in, show some love. This is your homeboy Toon, Mr. Toon Dollars, Toon Ski, Toonism, Toon One, Tuner. Y'all know the rest, right? Comment all the tunes that you know in the comment section. Tune be chilling, and I'm tuning out.